So he's the founder and CEO of Upside, which allows employees to help earn money and free gift cards as a way to reduce business travel costs. He founded 3 companies that serve more than 50 million customers. One of them, you might have heard of it, Priceline. He chairs TEDMed, the health and medicine edition of the TED Conference. And as chairman of Walker Innovation, he's the world's 10th most patented living inventor, named on more than 700 U.S. patents covering a dozen fields. Please help me welcome up Jay.
You did an excellent job. I appreciate that. So I'm going to talk for a few minutes about a revolution that's coming in pricing. There's an entirely new asset class that's about to emerge that's hiding in plain sight that today nobody is paying any attention to. And the asset class is flexibility, personal flexibility, your ability to make choices about what you buy and the attributes around it. I'm going to talk to you about a new pricing layer that's about to emerge, and a layer that's above the product layer, which is the layer where price sits today, where every product has a price. And this new layer is the basket layer, the combination basket layer. Then I'm going to talk to you quickly about a new form of leverage, a new pricing leverage, which is the concealed discount. Discounts that are not obvious or even apparent to the buyer in an immediate product sense. And then I'm going to end it up in just 5 more minutes on a new engine called a pricing engine that uses big data and access to multiple databases in order to drive the entire new system. Essentially, we're about to enter an age that I call the flexibility economy. We're about to see a change that's as big as the change that fracking did in energy. You see, fracking allowed a new technology to recover gas that was irrecoverable at economic benefit before, but fracking completely changed the ability to recover that asset. Hydraulic fracking changed the entire balance of power in the energy industry and broke the back, in many ways, of the cartel of big producers. How does that apply to the world that we're about to go? You see, in the world of pricing, we are living at the end of the industrial age. Pricing began in the agricultural age, where every product was different, so every price was different. Everything was handmade. The industrial age gave us standardized products and the price tag. And the price tag made sense because every product was pretty much the same. And even though we might have created certain sizes or certain flavors or differences, at the end of the day, we still live in the industrial age of pricing. When we go on Amazon, we see a price. But the fact of the matter is, pricing is about to become decoupled from the product. And the reason it's decoupled from the product is because the mobile phone has made price transparency so immediate, so ubiquitous, that the notion of a price that exists differentially in a store versus a price online is going away, and retail, as a result, is vibrating as large parts of retailing are being destroyed by this idea. Ultimately, what is going to happen is we're going to stop pricing by the unit, and we're going to start pricing by the basket. The basket, is thinking about it in a grocery store way, is as you're going down the aisle of a grocery store in a physical store, you don't care as much about the price of one item as you do care about the price of all the items in the basket. But the fact of the matter is, each item you put in the basket adds to the total price. Except in the new world. In the new world, I'll know who you are. I'll know how big your family is. I'll know you've never bought this product before. So suddenly, manufacturers, suppliers, governments, insurers, employers can start to intervene in the middle of the pricing process. And you can change the price of everything in the basket, and you can even conceal the discount. You can conceal the discount because you can change the price when you change 2 or more items. You see, when you buy 2 or more items, suddenly, nobody knows where the discount came from. It suddenly conceals what the manufacturer or the retailer might have been willing to do, and in a transparent world could be copied, disappears entirely when you have basket level pricing. Basket level pricing is the reason why a menu for a dinner has a dinner price versus the a la carte items that are all individually priced. The restaurant doesn't want to discount its prices. The restaurant just wants to sell you a dinner price at a much more affordable price. But in the world of big data, suddenly you can have multiple parties intervene in real time. And as you think about augmented reality, glasses where you're looking at a dairy case and you can see all of the prices in your glasses, or when you take two items off a shelf and put them in your basket, your physical basket, which is a high intentionality purchase, suddenly has a price that's new and different that is not the summation of all the prices in the basket, all the items in the basket, which means suddenly Walmart can compete with Amazon. It means suddenly Target and Kroger can compete with Amazon. It means that the online pricing, which always had an advantage in transparency when it was at a unit level, suddenly gets irrelevant when it's at a basket level. Because the person who's online doesn't necessarily have the view of everything because it's an online window, and the person who's a retailer has the entire history of all the customers' purchases, can price differentially, can get manufacturers to support it. If it's your first time buying this brand, they can price way lower, especially if you're doing multiple, and then it gets even more interesting because then you can do substitutions. And by substitutions, I mean suddenly the retailer through your phone can say, if you take this item and this item out of your basket, if you take the Tropicana and the Ever-Ready batteries out, and you put the Duracell and the Minute Maid in, we'll take $2.75 off the total in the basket. If you try this flavor, if you try this delayed, this expiration date, if you try this new product, we can change the price of the whole basket. This type of thing is exactly at the core of what I'm doing in my new business, which launches Monday, in the travel space. Business travel specifically, unmanaged, or business travel where you can choose your own flights and hotels. You see, travel is the ultimately transparent price thing. You can see exactly what every price is, and every airline can't change anything because they just match it. When you suddenly bundle pricing, air and hotel together, or eventually air, hotel, ground, etc. together, you can conceal the discounts. You can suddenly offer a bundled price that is way better than any individual price can be. And if you then use big data to analyze thousands of variations in the system, you can find all kinds of micro flexibility that you might be willing to do. Let me show you an example of what I mean. In air and hotel, I've identified just quickly 40 different ways that you can think of flexibility even in business travel. What airport do you arrive? What airline brand? What departure date? What departure time? Leaving 20 minutes early might save you $100. What's your total transit time if you're willing to be on a plane that's a little slower? What's the equipment quality that you're thinking about? How about on-time reliability? You know what? I'm willing to take this airline versus this airline. They're a little less on-time reliable, but how much are you going to save? Nobody has ever been able to monetize your flexibility. What's going to happen is all of these little slices of flexibility are suddenly going to become things you can trade for lower prices, or in the case of our business, both lower prices and more rewards. Because in business travel, you're not the one paying the bills. Your employer's paying the bills. So ultimately, what you've got to do is you've got to share the savings of the flexibility so that the traveler is getting part of the value and the company is getting part of the value. Willing to connect in Dublin versus Keflavik? Guess what? That's worth $100 to you and $250 to your employer. Big data allows for the mining of thousands and thousands and thousands of different combinations in real time, doing things you can't do. Who's going to evaluate connection failure risk? Well, big data can evaluate it. If you're willing to connect at this airport for this airport, you've got a slightly higher failure risk, but you know what? If you're willing to pay me for that risk, maybe I'll take it. What about the backups if the flight goes mechanical? Something I had last night. All right, what about the overbooking risk? You're not currently being paid for any of these dimensions of flexibility. Every one of these things are factors as you look at airline hotels. Willing to stay at a hotel 2 blocks away, willing to have a hotel without a gym, willing to have a hotel that doesn't have an airport shuttle or does. All of these variables, every last one of them, are elements of flexibility. Ultimately, when you look at all of these elements, you are getting paid for none of them. Here's a chart with just 44 dimensions of flexibility. The economy we're heading for is one in which you will be able to monetize that flexibility. There are 2,000 flights on 55 routes just from New York to London. 2,000 ways in each direction. You can't analyze them all, but machine and big data can. And when they do, they can find the needles in the haystack. The same is true as there's 750 hotels just in Greater London. No one person can analyze all those combinations. But when you add those flights and those hotels together, you can create bundle-level pricing that provides concealed discounts, real savings to the employer, real benefit to the in this case, to the customer, and that's just as true in healthcare, it's true in insurance, it's true in giant verticals. If you change the way we price, you change entire industries. Big data is going to be the driver of a flexibility economy and a flexibility engine. And you're going to see it unveil in the next couple of years in a giant way. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.